Boyd, Bluffdale to Camp Williams on Redwood Road, and 4100 South at Bangerter Highway. That intersection's been shut down. The early bird sale starts today at Zero Res Carpet Cleaning. It's $25 per room for the best no residue cleaning. Minimums and area restrictions apply. Schedule online at zerores.com. Mark Jackson in the KSL Traffic Center.
Chance of showers decreasing, still a 50% chance tomorrow. Right now, 48 degrees at KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The following is a presentation of KSL Sports. Hello, Cougar Nation.
Handoff middle. First down. Touchdown. And listen to the Cougar Nation.
Every Monday night, we break down the Cougars' last game and look ahead to next week. Cougar Nation, brought to you by Blue Barn Wealth. Here's BYU insider Mitch Harper and Matt Biamonte on Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio.
Cougar Nation, welcome into another edition of Cougar Nation. BYU Cougars, one of four new teams in the Big 12. First of those four to notch a win in conference play as they defeated the Cincinnati Bearcats 35-27. We're going to be breaking that game down, helmet stickers, what's trending, and we're taking your calls. We want to hear who you guys think has been the best player on this team through the first 5 games of the year. We'll take your calls throughout this entire hour of Cougar Nation, 801-575-8255. It feels like that game was a while ago, but we're still going to break it down, Mitch.
It was an important win for BYU. We got to start things off with our takeaways from that game.
Cougar Nation takeaways. Mitch and Matt analyze BYU's last week of play and what it means for the next week.
Again, start loading up those phone calls, 801-575-8255. You can also text us. Text BYU to 57500. Takeaway number 1, Matt, from BYU's 35-27 win over Cincinnati. As you kind of pointed out, it's the first Big 12 win. It's the first time BYU gets a conference win since 2010. You got to go back 13 years to when BYU beat New Mexico. A little bit different level of play when you're in the Big 12 conference. BYU takes down a fellow newcomer in Cincinnati. And, you know, I think you don't want to make too much of all these firsts that have been happening, but in the moment, celebrate it because, you know, it's such a grind with getting to this moment. It took 2 years, the ramp up, and all the decades before to be in a league like this. So when it does come and you get those successes, you got to celebrate.
Absolutely. And it's important, too, that because you're in a conference again, the wins and the losses feel differently. Like, don't you feel differently today about 4-1 than you did about 4-1 in any independent year? Because you look, you're 1-1 in conference play. You look ahead, TCU's the next game. That got a kick time, by the way. That'll be 1:30 Mountain Time on October 14th. You look at that game, they just dropped into West Virginia. You look at that and you say, could you beat TCU? You move to 2-1. I mean, you could go pie in the sky. We're not going to because there's a lot of conference play left, but that's what's kind of fun about these wins. And it's not fun to lose, but like you keep that in perspective. You lose to Kansas. It's only one game. You bounce back against Cincinnati, which they did, and you feel a lot differently going forward. So it was a historic night on many levels.
Last year, by comparison, they were 4-1, and no one felt good about the team because they had just barely beat Wyoming, barely beat Utah State. Yeah, they were nationally ranked, but no one felt good about it. But this time, you know, you're 4-1 BYU, and I don't think at any point they've come close to playing a perfect game. I don't think they're anywhere close to being a finalized, you know, their best version of themselves, and I think that's promising. And, you know, you wanted to get that win over the newcomer. You didn't want to allow one of those fellow newbies to get the upper hand on you, and I think that's something to be said, that you did take down a team that, you know, maybe that experience you had as an independent playing so many more Power Fives did get you better equipped for the week in, week out grind that's in the Big 12. All the other newcomers, they're winless so far, all 0-2 through the first 2 weeks of league play. So I think that, you know, BYU is definitely benefiting from being in a league, and I think the intensity, the excitement from Cougar Nation inside LaVell Edwards Stadium for that game was palpable as well. It was the biggest crowd since 2009. I was stunned by that, Matt. I didn't realize that there was not a crowd to that degree, that level of numbers in the seats at LES since 09 against Utah. Not any point during Independence did they have standing room only crowd. I thought that was pretty neat to hear that sort of number, 63,000 plus packed into LaVell Edwards Stadium to witness BYU get its first Big 12 win. So the fans, they're all in on this team, and I think that you just hope now they just keep getting better from here as they now head into the bye week.
Before we get to our next takeaway, you can call in 801-575-8255. What are your takeaways, Cougar Nation? You can chime in. And also, who has been the best player on this BYU football team through the first 5 games? We want to hear your thoughts on those things. Another takeaway from the game that I noticed, Mitch, was defensively, they've come a long way, and I think the group that is leading the charge right now is that linebacker group. Just impressive numbers. You look across the board, 16 tackles for Max Tooley, outstanding. A.J. Vongpachon, who quietly is having another outstanding season. Because, look, we were getting a lot of publicity and notoriety to Ben Bywater, and rightfully so, but A.J. Vongpachon has been just as good. And then Harrison Taggart, who fills in for Ben Bywater. 10 tackles. I don't remember any missed tackles from that group. They were flying all over the place. This is the best group on the defense, and they're doing an outstanding job. And there's depth, too, right? So that linebacking group is really, really talented.
That level of production that you just noted from those linebackers against Cincinnati, to me, it gives you the luxury, if you're Jay Hill and this defensive staff, Justin Enna, to where you can be a little more patient with Ben Bywater. Ideally, you want Ben back as soon as possible with that right shoulder injury, but understand, Ben was dealing with a shoulder injury last spring. You want to be delicate with that. You don't want to hurt, his chances because he's got pro aspirations. You don't want to rush him back prematurely.
Got some Senior Bowl praise.
Right, and I think that knowing that Harrison Taggart stepped in, and I know that Cincinnati is not one of the better offenses in the Big 12, but still he stepped in and showed you 10 tackles. First college career start. He's one of the best athletes on the team, and even A.J. Vongpachon today says he's one of the hardest workers on the team. So he kind of plugged in, fit in nicely. You still want Ben back, but I'm with you. I think this linebacker unit is really good, and the depth you noted. You add Siali Acera, who was a heralded freshman. He came back from an injury. Ammon Hanneman, Isaiah Glasker's coming back for the TCU game. BYU's got options there, and that top 3, though, even without Bywater, is really good. It's one of the better linebacker units in the Big 12 Conference, and I think Vongpachon might lead the way. He's outstanding. He's been just a plug-and-play, instant impact guy. He's lived up to all the accolades and hype that he got when he committed to BYU last April.
Yeah, and I love to see AJ in particular have the type of year he's having. Knock on wood, he stays healthy, Mitch, because that's the type of portal dude that I think BYU can get repeatedly into the future. A guy at a lower level who wants to come up and produce and show what he can do. He's doing everything he did at Utah State. He's showing right here on a Power 5 stage. It's pretty sweet.
Takeaway number 3 from BYU's 35-27 win over Cincinnati. The run game still struggling a little bit, but the offensive line got better, Matt. It wasn't a groundbreaking breakthrough on the ground. It was only 70 rush yards, but it felt like there was some moments that make you go, okay, they can build on this, because Cincinnati does have one of the better defensive lines in the Big 12 Conference. I thought they were very good in stretches. So credit the BYU offensive line that had some second unit guys with Waylon Lapuaho out. I think that they got better and on a week where they were kind of taken to task and everyone was saying, what are you going to do to respond after a lackluster performance at Kansas?
We're taking your calls, and we got our first one of the night here on Cougar Nation. Let's go out to Bangerter Freeway, where Papa Pete is calling in. Papa Pete, what do you got for us, brother?
Dude, it was going to be 2, but I'm going to give you the top 3 players. And that means, to be clear, if you're injured and you've lost a game, you're not in my list. So, surprisingly, Rico is my number 1 player.
Not
the
bad.
guy has been stones the entire season. I expect him to continue to do that. Number 2 is going to be Slovis, getting better every week. And then Chase Roberts. What a pleasant surprise. I knew he was good. I tell you what, those 3 guys, I have, of course, Bywater on there, but, of course, we lost him last week. I'm hopeful that he'll be back coming week. As a unit, no question, defense. But those are my top 3 players.
I love that, Papa Pete, and thanks for the call. And Look, Chase Roberts, I don't know if you listen to Cougar Sports Saturday, which we do nearly every Saturday throughout we were off last Saturday. It was kind of nice. But for 50 weeks of the year, we're doing Cougar Sports Saturday, 12 to 3. We were high on Chase Roberts all year, and he's proven us to be right. He's been great.
Well, and I think also when, Cody Epps went into the portal for those 48 hours, it was a moment where he had to regain his place on the team and his trust from his teammates. Whereas Chase Roberts has stayed with this group. He could have went in the portal. Yep. Chase Roberts is the type of guy that he entered the portal, he would have had Power 5 interest. He's a good athlete. I think it was great for him to have that great catch from Keaton Slovis. And we'll get to that a little bit later, but he's got great speed too. Chase Roberts is a heck of a player. And Rico, I'm glad Papa Pete mentioned him because he has been a field flipper for BYU. You're talking about the average field distance starting position for BYU. They're plus 13 in terms of average, starting field position. BYU is winning that battle. And some of that's because of, takeaways. Some of it is, causing turnovers or the defense or special teams. But I love what Rico has done. He's an NFL leg. I don't know if he's going to get drafted, but I think he's going to be
He'll
in
be
a
in
camp.
a camp for sure.
Absolutely. You think about some of the great BYU punters of all time. You think about Lee Johnson from '84, Alan Boardman in the '90s.
Oh, Rico's better than him.
But you've had some BYU, he's up there he might be next to Lee Johnson.
I think he is next to Thunderfoot.
I think we might have to have that. We see Lee Johnson around. Maybe we have to have him go barefoot again, and maybe Rico can settle it sometime. There's some kickoff or something. Maybe we need that.
I thought it was interesting too in the offseason when Kelly Papinga told us that he's the best punter he's ever had. Kelly Papinga, he's not some young graduate assistant anymore. He's coached at Boise, at Virginia, at BYU. Like, he's been in the game for a minute. He thinks he's the best punter he's ever coached. I think that speaks volumes. Let's go back to the phone line for one more quick call. Tim from Provo. Who are some of your top players this season, Tim?
Hey, what's up? Chase Roberts on offense for sure. He's led us in 3 of our 5 games, and Keaton Slovis has gotten better every week, obviously. And defense, Jacob Robinson.
Good call.
Would have been nice to have that take against Arkansas, but Eddie Heckard too. Just our whole secondary haven't given up more than 300 yards this passing this season. So, yeah.
Well, thanks for the call, Tim. I think that those are great picks because this BYU team, it's nice that they have some actual star power. Yeah. I think coming into the year, you wondered, who are the key guys? They got a nice collection of talent. But who are going to be the stars that emerge? I think that for some of guys that Tim just mentioned, I think that's a group that is going to lead the charge for BYU in the back half of the schedule. If they want to find a way to get into that top 4, top 5 of the Big 12, those got to be some of the key contributors every single week. We got to take a break, though. Keep the phone lines coming. 801-575-8255. Cougar Nation is
Deb, I'm a huge DIY guy, but one thing I'm not going to touch is electrical.
I've got the answer for you. You have to call Master Electrical. They have what's called upfront pricing. You know how bids can be a guessing game, and the longer an expert's in your home, the bigger the bill is? Not with Master Electrical. This upfront pricing is amazing.
Yeah, their pricing system won't even allow them to go higher.
They do everything that has to do with electrical. You need lights? Call Master Electrical. Ceiling fans, smoke detectors, generators, batteries, even EV chargers.
And all that pricing is upfront, and it's a guarantee.
Master Electrical proudly serves from Logan to Santa Quinn.
And they're always open, so if you have some emergency, they're there. So give them a call at 801-543-2222. That's 801-543-2222.
Or you can check them out online at masterelectrical.com.
Do it today.
Get a new car at a used car price during our surplus sale. I'm Josh Osborne with Volkswagen Southtown. We have huge discounts on all remaining 2023s.
Get up to $4,000 off the 23 Taos, $5,000 off the 23 Tiguan, $6,000 off the 23 Atlas, and up to $10,000 off the ID4 EV. Hurry in before we run out of 2023s.
Get our lowest prices of the year at Utah's #1 Volkswagen dealer. Visit VWSouthtown.com.
Claim based on 2022 plus VW retail reports. Financing through VCI OAC.
This season, your coffee orders are getting warmer, and your outfits are getting cozier. The world keeps changing, and so does COVID-19. That's why this season's COVID-19 shots have been updated. They're one of the best ways to help protect yourself against COVID-19. You can get a COVID-19 shot at the same visit as a flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Talk to your healthcare provider to learn more and schedule at vaccines.gov. And don't forget to get extra cinnamon spice. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Kids are back in the classroom, and at Central Bank, they understand the importance of forming good financial habits at an early age and encouraging kids to succeed in the classroom. Central Bank's Youth Smart Savings Account rewards students for great grades. Central Bank will reward your child grades 6 through 12 for every A or A- earned on each report card up to $32 per school year. They'll also match your child's opening deposit up to $20. And if earning a higher interest rate than a regular savings account isn't enough, they'll also let your youngsters choose from their treasure chest with each in-person savings deposit. Open a Youth Smart Savings account for your child, teen, or grandchild and teach them to save early. Central Bank's Youth Smart Savings Account is the smartest, hardworking children's savings account around. Visit them online at cbutah.com or in person at one of their 12 Utah County locations. Additional terms and conditions may apply. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey guys, do you know what makes Revive Men's Health Salt Lake City different? You. Every Revive treatment and medication is personalized just for you. Revive has the experts that guys go to when their current treatment isn't working. They have a complicated medical condition, or they're just not happy with their daily performance. Since 2011, they've helped thousands of local men suffering with the symptoms of low T and ED. Their goal is simple: to get to the bottom of your issues and fix them. Your best performance requires more than generic ED medications or a low-dose testosterone booster at a low-ball price like you find online. Revive medications are custom compounded, affordable, and guaranteed to resolve your issues. Stop dealing with the symptoms of low T or ED. Book your T-check and exam today. Call 801-263-7777. That's 801-263-7777. Or visit us at revivemenshealth.com.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Cougar Nation.
A 75-yard touchdown run down the far sideline.
Every Monday at 6 on KSL News Radio.
No time to waste. We're taking your calls here in Cougar Nation, 801-575-8255 in Cougar Nation. It's brought to you by Blue Barn Wealth. Fee-only fiduciaries who help you live within your meaning. BlueBarnWealth.com. Let's go out to the phone line. Take another call. We want to know who your favorite's the wrong term. Who have been the best players on this BYU football team through the first 5 games. Michael, coming from the state of Texas. What do you got for us, Michael?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. So a couple things. I think first, something I never thought I would say is I think BYU has the best corners in the state of Utah this year, which is kind of shocking to me.
Good point.
So I think those are two of the top ones. But what I really wanted to call about is really eat crow to my BYU friends. I was so down when we signed Keaton Slovis out of the portal. This team might be a 3-win team without Keaton Slovis. The things that this guy is doing this year with no run game, an offensive line that is up and down, definitely not close to the skill talent that we've had in past years with like Zach and Jaron. And just I've been to multiple games in person. His mechanics in the pocket, this is an NFL quarterback. It's unbelievable how under the radar he is flying. I think he's a top 3 quarterback in the Big 12. I really do. And to think of what he's doing and how good he's making this offense look with a lot of new faces. He doesn't even have his probably second best receiver. Hasn't played all year. I don't think we could say enough about Keaton Slovis. I really don't. I'm here to eat crow, and I'm very impressed. So that's all I'd like to say.
Hey, Michael, great call, because you know what? I think a lot of people shared a similar thought with like you when it came to Slovis. I mean, even when I saw him officially commit to BYU last Christmas Eve, I thought, is this going to work?
Right.
Because this seemed like a broken man, and he has been outstanding. I think, to your point, Michael, I think BYU is probably a 1-4 team at this point.
Yeah.
With if they didn't,
I
have
don't see
Keaton
3
Slovis.
wins without Slovis.
No, I think absolutely. And you know what? When he said on the air, third best Big 12 quarterback, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, Quinn Ewers 1, Dylan Gabriel, Oklahoma 2, Will Howard, K-State, no, he's kind of banged up. Chandler Morris, TCU, no. Maybe it is Keaton Slovis. Maybe he is. I think also Keaton has done enough to say he's at least a late day 3 draft pick, right?
Totally.
I think you take a flyer on him.
I love that call, too. That's one of the best calls we've had on the Cougar Nation, because I still get fans who are like, Keaton, I don't know. And I'm like, are you serious? This dude is carrying the offense. There's no run game, Mitch.
There has, even in the Cincinnati game, though, there were some throws. Even that 59-yard bomb to Roberts probably could have been picked. There was that one near the sideline. It's going to happen, though. When you're slinging the rock, I mean, it was only 24 times against Cincinnati, 51 times against Kansas.
Well, they barely had the ball in the first half.
Right. But, I mean, there's some decisions where it's like you got to clean that up, and hopefully coming into the bye and coming out of it, those sort of things get shored up. But, man, I think he's taken on the baton from Zach and Jaron, where you take care of the football, you're not throwing many picks. It's putting you in a spot to where you're winning ball games. BYU's not winning pretty right now.
And he's making explosive plays, too. That's the thing. That's overcome the bad run game, is that there's so many chunk plays in the passing game. I almost thought about giving him a helmet sticker, Mitch, but I had to go another direction. Let's give out our helmet stickers for the performance against the Bearcats of Cincinnati.
Jacob Robinson.
Think we're the type of team that can just go and pose our.
Sorry, Mitch.
Jacob Robinson, for me, is my pick. He had that pick 6. You got to give Jacob Robinson to become a lockdown corner for the Cougs.
For me, defensively, Max Tooley. Talked about the 16 tackles. He balled out, and that was the game, too, where I remembered the commentary from RG3 against Baylor last year, where he was like, this dude's an NFL guy. It's a game like Tooley had against the Bearcats where you see that NFL potential.
Austin Riggs, long snapper. Never thought I'd say his name on this show. He gets a helmet sticker. Fumble recovery on the muff punt.
Did you like the celebration at the end, too?
Loved it.
Little Remember the Titans.
A long snapper being discussed in a positive light. That's what's amazing.
Chase Roberts gets my other helmet sticker, Mitch. I just think Chase, week after week, continues to establish himself as the number 1 wide receiver target. He's got 6 grabs, 131 yards, a TD, 9 targets. He's just... The thing that I also love, too, it kind of stuck out to me in the Cincinnati game, he can do it all. Intermediate, deep, he can run after the catch. The whole route tree is at his disposal. He's a multi-tool wide receiver, and he's well on his way to having a chance to play in the NFL.
That's your helmet stickers for the week. Cougar Nation brought to you by Blue Barn Wealth. Still taking your phone calls, 801-575-8255. News, traffic, and weather. And then we'll get to what's trending up and trending down with BYU football.
Good evening. It's 6:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. KSL's top local story this half hour. Congressman John Curtis won't be running for Senate. Curtis wrote an op-ed in the Deseret News that he has a commitment to his constituents in Congressional District 3. Last week, he told KSL News Radio he was 90% chance he would run for Senator Mitt Romney's seat. The wife of Tim Ballard, the former CEO of Operation Underground Railroad, issued a statement this afternoon saying she and her husband are cooperating with their local religious leaders. KSL News Radio's Lindsay Eretz has the story.
Catherine Ballard, Tim Ballard's wife, says they are in touch with their ecclesiastical leaders. Tim Ballard asserted 2 weeks ago he was a faithful member in good standing with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In the words of Catherine Ballard's statement, the conversations are, quote, strictly confidential and extremely personal. She adds they are complying fully and remain committed to their faith and family. Her husband, the founder of anti-trafficking organization Operation Underground Railroad, has been accused of sexual misconduct, grooming, and spiritual manipulation by at least 5 women who, through an attorney, say they've been victims while on undercover missions with Tim. KSL received a statement from Ballard's new organization called the Spear Fund in request for comment about his church standing. Lindsay Ertz, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this half hour from ABC News. Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz has filed a resolution to oust Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker. It's setting up a likely showdown vote in the House in the days ahead. Coming up, looks like the rain's not done with us yet. We'll check the forecast coming up next. KSL News Time, 6:31.
Win tickets to a private KSL screening of Taylor Swift's Eras concert movie. Listen for your tickets 8:45, 11:45, and 3:45 each weekday on KSL News Radio.
Better health isn't always about the big things. Sometimes it's a nudge from a friend, or a head nod from a fellow jogger, or even a smile from across the breakfast table when you've decided to pass on the bacon. It's the little things that lead to better health. And Regence is here as a partner, opening doors to the care you need, no matter the size. Because it all adds up to something big. A healthier you. Regence Blue Cross Blue Shield of Utah. Together we health.
All right, Mittens. This is going to be fine. Please don't panic. Okay, here we go. One paw at a time. No.
Some things are best left to the experts, like furnace inspections. Schedule one with a certified heating contractor to make sure your furnace is running safely and efficiently for winter. A reminder from Dominion Energy.
Held over due to popular demand. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to save 40 to 80% on a hot tub and swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to save 40 to 80% on a hot tub and swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Friday, noon to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 888-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
KSL has your tickets for Taylor. We're filling a Megaplex theater full of Swifties, and we want you there. Listen for the keyword weekdays at 8:45, 11:45, and 3:45. Then text it to 57500 for your chance to win. Want a reminder? Text the word Taylor to 57500 and we'll alert you when the contest is about to start. Details and more chances to win at KSLNewsRadio.com.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. Mark Jackson, what's happening on the roads?
Redwood Road is looking a lot better southbound after you get through slowdowns towards Porter Rockwell. It opens up to where we had an earlier wreck down around 179th South. Camp Williams that left it awfully heavy. 4100 South is still slow out west towards Bangerter with the big crash there. It's everyone's favorite season. Now's the time, and this is the place for little haunts and autumn adventure coupled with not so scary fun. Visit thisistheplace.org for information. Mark Jackson of the KSL Traffic Center.
Still lingering chance of showers across the Wasatch Front tomorrow, about a 50% chance, but then Wednesday looks very nice. Temperature climbing up to 63 for a high, 67 on Thursday. Right now, 48 degrees at KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The following is a presentation of KSL Sports. Hello, Cougar Nation.
Handoff middle. First down. Touchdown. And listen to the Cougar Nation.
Every Monday night, we break down the Cougars' last game and look ahead to next week. Cougar Nation, brought to you by Blue Barn Wealth. Here's BYU insider Mitch Harper and Matt Baiamonte on Utah's legacy home of the Cougars. KSL News Radio.
Cougar Nation, we're breaking down the win over Cincinnati, and we're taking your calls. We've had some good calls today, too, and we got 30 minutes left in the show. So if you want to chime in on the win over the Bearcats, or who are the best players for BYU football up until this point, you can call us at 801-575-8255. That's 801-575-TALK. Right now, Mitch, let's get into what's trending for BYU football. Let's do it.
Cougar Nation, trending. What's trending up and what's trending down this football season?
I'll start things off, Mitch. Trending up, Miles Davis. When he came onto the field, I think I was like a lot of Cougar fans who were like, what?
You were like, consider me Miles Davis.
What Adam Sandler movie is that?
Billy Madison.
Billy Madison, you're right. Consider me Miles Davis. That's a good
Oh!
That's a good pull from our childhood.
Yep.
It was shocking to see him because he has gotten was he even on the depth chart?
No, he wasn't even on the travel roster for Arkansas. And then he emerges and
he looked explosive.
And you're thinking, why was this guy left for dead? Why was this guy left to not be in the mix?
It doesn't make any sense. 4 carries, 17 yards, 11 yards was his longest run. And LJ has done a really nice job. Let's all remember he is a true freshman. Yeah. We can't expect him to be 1,500-yard Tyler Algier. He's done a nice job considering he's a true freshman. Miles Davis, though, had another step that I don't know that LJ has. And so if you can compliment Miles, LJ down the road, maybe get Aiden Robbins back, I thought it was awesome bringing him in, and it was a nice change of pace.
While Aiden Robbins is injured, and hopefully they can get him back for TCU, but while he's injured, you need a second running back that can tote the rock. Deion Smith's more of a receiver out of the backfield. He's kind of like that little Pini Katoa role.
Yep.
That's where he's best served in this offense. But I think as far as running the football between the tackles, it's LJ Martin. I think it's got to be Miles Davis as your number 2 option. It was great to see them turn to him, and I like that Kalani was also very high on Miles Davis. This was Kalani on Friday after the win over Cincinnati on Miles Davis.
I was so proud of Miles Davis, fighting through adversity, and he kind of got lost in the shuffle in the competition and had opportunities. And I never saw him let down at all. And throughout the whole season, he was always working, always upbeat, always positive, and then had his opportunities. And I think he's going to be a mainstay for us. He's bigger, stronger than he was in the past, and I think he's taking advantage of his opportunities.
Miles is in his 4th year in the program, and, he's giving you flashes last year against Wyoming and in his freshman season. He's dealt with injuries, but multiple fall camps during his career, 2021, 2022, he was kind of like a fall camp standout. Yep. So the talent is there. He's shown the coaches he can perform. It just seemed like it was the case of, Aiden Robbins is here, Deion Smith's here, LJ Martin's here. Sorry, Miles, it's not going to work out. But, Again, it's a lesson, too, to anyone out there on these teams. Just stay the course because injuries happen, adversity hits. Be ready for your moment. And even though it was only 17 yards, it felt like it was an impactful 17 yards. Here's my trending up. Kedon Slovis, we talked about him a lot. I just think, again, the impact he's had both on the field and off. I feel like when players talk about his leadership, I don't think they're just giving us some cliche speak. I think they really bought into him. And I think that he's kind of got this kind of cool guy aura about him where everyone just seems to be drawn to him. They like him. And he likes being at BYU. He loves it here. And I think it's just worked out so nicely. And I hope the story continues to evolve for Slovis where he becomes an NFL draft pick. And how great would that be for BYU? 3 consecutive starters at quarterback getting drafted potentially. That hasn't happened since the late 70s when you're talking about like Mark Wilson, Jim McMahon, Steve Young. It hasn't happened since then. So that would be quite the accomplishment. And I think Slovis is well on his way.
And more importantly, he's making plays on the field, too. Like, I love all the leadership stuff, too. It's great. But do you do it during the game? And it's like, he only completed 13 passes, but he's over 20 yards per completion. Like, he's making chunk plays. He's making really good throws. Like, there's been a few that were questionable. We're talking 3 throws out of 150. The dude's thrown for over 1,000 yards.
And the first 29 minutes of the Cincinnati game, it wasn't pretty.
No.
And it did not look good. We would be maybe talking trending down potentially if that was a whole 60 minutes. But no, I thought Slovis, and those are the moments you want to see though, because typically in the past when he'd have struggles early on in a game, he'd just fold like a tent and it would be over, and he'd have a multi-pick game and it would just get out of whack for him. This still is stat line: 13 of 24, 223, 2 touchdowns, 0 INTs. you'd like that completion rate a little bit better clip.
Yeah, but there was a
still.
few dropped passes in there too. So there was a swing pass that should have been caught. If he completes 3 more passes, 16 to 24, it's not bad.
I like what Slovis is bringing for BYU. What's your trending down for the
Trending down for me, and I'm getting sick of this. So this is a mini rant here from Matt Baiamonte. Can we stop getting conservative in the fourth quarter with leads? We've seen it in the last 2 wins where these games are way closer than they need to be. It's getting ridiculous. It happened at the end of Arkansas where you just go way backwards and then you make a field goal that should have been 40 yards, 51, and Will Ferrell misses it, and then it opened the door for the Razorbacks. And then again, it wasn't that close. You're up 15. I get it. But, for everything we just said about Keane Slovis, isn't this what you work for as a coach, to have a fifth-year quarterback that you trust? Let this dude throw the football one. I just believe that he would make the right decisions and that he would either get you a nail-in-the-coffin touchdown or you have a reasonable field goal. Because Will Ferrell has shown 40 yards and in, he can be trustworthy, right?
Yep.
And you kick a field goal, let's say everything unfolds the same against the Bearcats, but you get the field goal. Don't you feel a little differently about 38-27 than 35-27? I just feel like these things matter. Beating Arkansas by double digits, beating Cincinnati by double digits. There's a little extra confidence, a little more swag in your step when you're soundly beating people. So I just don't like this conservative nature at the end of these games where it just feels like we don't want to turn the ball over. We don't want to do anything crazy. We've seen a myriad of plays. What about the pick play to Rex, where Keanu comes in, Rex goes to the sideline, that's like a guaranteed 5 yards. That's safe, and that moves the ball forward. We got to stop being so conservative that we're opening the door at the end of games for opponents.
Don't let a game that you had decisively in hand get to the hands team.
Yep.
Don't let it get to a point where Chase Roberts needs to come up with the play on the hands team.
Absolutely.
Don't let that happen. I think it's a good point. My trending down is time of possession, and I know time of possession sometimes an inflated stat where, again, BYU didn't win the time of possession, but they won the game. But I think still there were some tendencies with the defense that looked a little bit like last year where you're like, can you get off the field? They gave up a 17-play drive to Cincinnati. Cincinnati had a ton of plays, 84 to BYU's 53. Even Kalani pointed it out in the postgame that needs to get fixed. Their time of possession, 35 minutes for Cincinnati, 25 minutes for BYU. They're below 100th nationally in time of possession. You just like to see Keane and Slovis get a few more opportunities. And that's what's impressive, too, is they got 35 total points despite only having the ball for 25 minutes.
Yeah, well, on that note, Mitch, I think we learned something after the Cincinnati game, and it was sort of referenced today with Kalani. Here's Kalani Sitake talking about the run game.
I don't think we're the type of team that can just go and impose our will on people and try to run the ball against a team that's going to load the box. But there's different ways to execute and get points on the board and get first downs, and that's the goal for us on offense.
And we learned that against Cincinnati. This is not a good running team. So this 50-50 thing that BYU has liked to have done in the past, put it in the garbage can. 70-30. This is a much better passing team. You saw it in that second quarter when they had no choice with 36 seconds. And I thought this was a sneaky good decision by Kalani and A-Rod, because they could have easily said, this half is a disaster. Let's take a knee and go to the locker room and regroup. They got aggressive. They went no huddle. It changed the game. That, to me, is the blueprint going forward. Go no huddle a lot. You don't have to do it all game long, but pick up the pace and throw the rock, because that's what this team is good.
Cougar Nation is brought to you by Blue Barn Wealth, fee-only fiduciaries who help you live within your meaning. BlueBarnWealth.com. Taking more of your phone calls, 801-575-8255. Taking our final timeout. We'll get a look at what's ahead for the bye week and then maybe an early look at the TCU game as well. It's Cougar Nation here on KSL News Radio.
Do you need tickets for Taylor?
Yes, please.
It's hard to find good ones to the Eras concert movie.
Tell me about it.
So let KSL do this for your kids. Or maybe it's for you. We're giving away a pair of tickets to a private KSL screening of the Eras movie. Just listen each day at 8:45, 11:45, and 3:45 for your chance to win. 3 chances to win every weekday. 8:45, 11:45, and 3:45 for the next 2 weeks on KSL News Radio.
Kids are back in the classroom, and at Central Bank, they understand the importance of forming good financial habits at an early age and encouraging kids to succeed in the classroom. Central Bank's Youth Smart Savings Account rewards students for great grades. Central Bank will reward your child grades 6 through 12 for every A or A- earned on each report card up to $32 per school year. They'll also match your child's opening deposit up to $20. And if earning a higher interest rate than a regular savings account isn't enough, they'll also let your youngsters choose from their treasure chest with each in-person savings deposit. Open a Youth Smart Savings account for your child, teen, or grandchild and teach them to save early. Central Bank's Youth Smart Savings Account is the smartest, hardworking children's savings account around. Visit them online at cbutah.com or in person at one of their 12 Utah County locations. Additional terms and conditions may apply. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Imagine it's the final game of the season, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are making a comeback. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
One of the country's premier business valuation and advisory firms is located right here in Utah. Trusted by top growth, small and mid-sized private companies, not just in Utah, but nationwide. Providing business valuation reports and M&A advisory, Economics Partners has helped clients ranging from billion-dollar biotechs to small consumer products or services businesses. Really, any size or company type you can imagine. They're the best at what they do. They understand the importance of great communication and delivering results. For your business valuation, acquisition, or sale, reach out to Economic Partners. You may just be curious what your business is worth if you were to sell. Or you may need a formal ASC or IRS compliant business valuation report for financial or tax reporting. Either way, go to econpartners.com and work with the best. econpartners.com. And go Cougs.
So you know when something's so great, you immediately want more?
Yes, ice cream cake.
No, I was thinking tonight on NBC.
No cake.
First, it's The Voice with Gwen Stefani, John Legend, Niall Horan,
and new coach Reba McEntire. Yes!
Then it's The Irrational starring Jesse L. Martin.
Ooh, from Law and Order.
This show will twist your brain into a pretzel.
That does sound tasty.
The Irrational after The Voice, tonight on NBC. You will want more.
Ice cream cake?
No.
Then stay tuned for KSL 5 News at 10.
Tonight at 10 on KSL.
Have you read your restaurant receipt lately?
Fees for credit cards, staff appreciation, COVID upcharge.
Bring in your own birthday cake charge?
It's getting pretty excessive.
That type of stuff's a little bit weird.
Our surprise surcharges adding dollars and cents when you dine out.
I'm just not a big supporter of adding additional fees.
I'll show you what to watch for. Random restaurant fees, live and streaming tonight on KSL 5 News at 10.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Cougar Nation.
Touchdown, Cougars take the lead.
Every Monday at 6 on KSL News Radio.
Cougar Nation. Welcome back in every single Monday night, 6 to 7 here on KSL News Radio and KSLSports.com. We're on YouTube, the KSL Sports app. Appreciate Trevor Allen manning the stream for us every single week here, 6 to 7, so Cougar Nation can interact with us. And also subscribe to the podcast as well. It's brought to you by Blue Barn Wealth. Mitch Harper, Matt Baiamonte. Did you enjoy your conference weekend, Matt? Get a little bit of a refresher, get recharged as BYU now heads into the bye week.
There is no such thing as getting refreshed or recharged with kids under 3 years old.
That's fair.
It does not exist.
That's fair. That's true. That's a good point.
I did have a delicious cinnamon roll. I mean, the egg casserole cinnamon roll combination of conference weekend is, it's not Thanksgiving level, obviously, but it is slowly working its way up. I really look forward to that.
BYU 4-1, 1-1 in Big 12 play. They're taking a bye this week, and then they got TCU on October 14th. We asked the listeners out there who do they think the best players are for BYU through 5 weeks. What say you, Matt? Who do you think is the best player?
Offensively, I do feel like it's Keaton Slovis. Yep. I just feel like he has far exceeded anyone's expectations. Because I remember, we already talked about this, but it's worth bringing up. When he signed in the fall, we were wondering, this dude's stats are getting worse every year. Freshman year until his last year at Pitt, decrease in completion percentage every year, yardage going down, more interceptions. You look at that trend, and you know who came to mind? Is Utah's quarterback for a couple games back in 2021, Charlie Brewer. Oh, yeah. He had a similar path at Baylor where it was like shot out of a cannon, and then every year, worse and worse and worse. Then Whittingham gives him the start. He serves up a BYU win that ends the streak. Like, that's what it sort of felt like. But then in spring football, that's when it all changed for me. When you saw, there was one play I'll never forget. I wonder if you remember this. Spring football, Slovis takes off, runs for a touchdown, whatever. No one's going to tackle him. Like, it's probably not fair to do that when you're wearing the green jersey. Go for a scramble. The entire offense comes over, celebrating with him. It just was like, okay, they really like this guy. Like, this dude is becoming a BYU guy. That's when I started to reframe my expectations for him. And even then, I feel like he's exceeded them. They do not beat Arkansas. They do not beat Cincinnati. And you could even say Sam Houston's a different game without Keaton Slovis. I just think I would say he's been the best player, period, this year.
I agree, because teams in college football, you base it based on a couple things. Schedule and quarterback play.
Yep.
And BYU's schedule to this point has been
lighter.
I wouldn't say light, but it's
lighter.
It's not as big of a gauntlet. That's why in the preseason we were saying 5-0 was attainable. That's why we kind of get amused when everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, are you stunned that BYU's 4-1?" We were saying 5-0. We were saying that this team could have been 5-0 out of the gates. The schedule wasn't a gauntlet.
No.
But October, I will say, 3 of the next 4 on the road.
Not as hard as it once looked, though.
But we're going to learn a lot about this BYU team, and I think that they're the legacy members in the Big 12, and that's going to be the challenge. No newcomer has beat one of the legacy members yet. Let's see if BYU can do it in a couple weeks. My best player for offense, definitely Keaton Slovis. Defensively, I think Tyler Batty has been the best.
Oh.
Because I think, and I know that comes off, I'm talking with Batty every single week on Cougar Tracks, so full disclosure there. But I think that he has, the defensive line, him and Banya have done a great job of setting the edge. Blake Mangelson, I just think Batty's playing great football. Every snap, he's winning his one-on-ones. And I just think that he's playing excellent up front to where it's allowing these linebackers to make plays like you saw on Friday night against Cincinnati. So I'd say Batty. I mean, the stats have been, I don't look at it so much with that. I mean, that 1 week he was the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week.
Arkansas.
But I just love what he's doing up front as a tone setter to kind of create everything else that's happening with this. And even Kalani Sitake said he's so versatile. They can do so many different things with him in Jay Hill's scheme.
Last chance, Cougar Nation, to chime in on the best players of the season so far, or any thoughts on the game against Cincinnati. 801-575-8255. I'm going to go with, I got a tweet earlier today when we put out the question, and if you don't already on X, follow us, Mitch_Harper, Biamante, Matt. The Lundberg, that's the account, said Max Tooley. And at first I thought, okay, is that recency bias because he had 16 tackles against Cincinnati? But you look at his stats for the year, I think I might have to agree. Leads the team in tackles, 38. He's got a sack. He's got an interception, got a pass breakup. Like, this is a versatile dude. He can cover in space. He can get after the quarterback. And I think his tackling has improved this year. He's a more sure tackler. That sounds like bad English, but that's what came to my mind. Tooley's been great. I think Tyler Batty's got a case. Jacob Robinson's got a case. That's what's so great about this defense. Last year, if we asked this question, does anyone have a case?
There would have been no one.
There's
no stars emerging.
No.
I even told Tyler in a podcast, I said, it's nice to break down individual plays where you and the defensive line are making plays.
Right.
Last year, they're just taking up blockers.
Yep.
It was just much ado about nothing, and it's just there was no belief in the system. So, yeah, it's great to see that stars have emerged, and the biggest star probably is Jay Hill. I mean, what he's doing with the safeties, no matter who's in there, they're still getting production, and that's been this staff has done a great job, and I'm still buying in with what they can do the rest of the way. Speaking of the rest of the way of the schedule, 7 games left, 5 games down. This is a bye week.
That makes me sad to hear.
It's flying by, Matt. Quick snapshot, quick predictions. We were bold in our first 5 games. We thought 5-0. They came 1 game short of that. The next 7 games, this is how it lays out. At TCU, 1:30 kick here on KSL News Radio. Texas Tech at home, October 21st. Texas, number 3 Texas, October 28th. November 4th at West Virginia. November 11th, home against Iowa State. November 18th, home against Oklahoma, is number 12 in the country. And then November 25th against Oklahoma State. What do you think BYU's record could be in those final 7?
Wow, that is a loaded question. I will say I want to buy in. I want to put all my chips in. There's just too many little things that are.
What's all buying in? Are you saying 7-0, man? Are you gonna get crazy here?
No, buying in would be 6-1, which like
6-1. You think that's attainable here?
No,
with 2 games against Oklahoma
I don't
and Texas?
think it's attainable, and that's not what I'm predicting. I'm just saying that's not out of the realm of possibility because that would assume you lose to Texas, you win your home games, and can you steal 2 road games? That's not crazy. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the rest of the way they're going 4-3, and they'll finish 8-4, and that's a great year. That's a great year.
That'd be outstanding in year 1 in the Big 12.
I'm thinking Iowa State and Oklahoma State, you're going to win. I'm feeling like Texas Tech, if you lose that game, how is that possible?
Really?
I mean, their season is falling apart. Their starting quarterback broke his leg, for heaven's sake.
They still put up 42 this past weekend with Shuck or with Baron Mortons.
Against who?
Houston.
Okay. Houston's maybe the worst team in the Big 12.
That's fair.
Okay. So when you break it down this way, it's like, can you steal 1 game that you're not supposed to win? And that, to me, is either West Virginia or TCU. Can you win your home games? And, look, Oklahoma's going to be insanely hard. I totally get it, but it is senior night, and they're going to be jacked. Look, BYU plays well against name brands, so
they do.
I'll say 4-3.
I'll say 3-4.
Okay.
I think the only game to me that I think BYU will be a favorite is Iowa State. I think every other game they will be an underdog.
You think they'll be an underdog to Tech?
I do, because Tech, I feel like skill talent-wise, they go blow for blow with BYU. And I think they're quicker on the line of scrimmage. They got better athletes. BYU's got more size, I think. But they've also got the ability to put up big numbers offensively. Like they could put up they're capable of putting up a 700-yard day. I don't know if BYU can do that. Whereas Texas Tech has shown that in the past and with some of this personnel. I think that they get to 7-5. And the thing is, what I hope though they get to 8. Because I do feel like the Big 12 is not as good as I thought they'd be this year. Because I think that from about teams 7 to 14, it's a melting pot of like 6-7 win teams at best. And BYU's got a real shot with how weak the bottom of the Big 12 is. Maybe they could be in the top 5 of the league this year in year 1. That might sound crazy, but it could be attainable. If you can win those games at home, Texas Tech and Iowa State, you take care of business against Oklahoma State. Then it comes down to West Virginia, Texas, and Oklahoma. It's just going to be fun. I love the week in, week out grind, the competition, and how it's just toss-up football. I love it. I think that's great for fans. It's great for this show. It's great for us because this is what BYU's been wanting. We're now going to see the grind of the Big 12 schedule coming out of the break. And I love that they got a bye this week.
Oh, yeah.
It's a perfect setup. It's really the best spot they could have had. And then they get loaded up for a 7-week gauntlet in the Big 12.
I like that TCU has a game this Saturday so that maybe they'll win and not be as hungry to get back into the win against on October 14th. Cougar Nation brought to you by Blue Barn Wealth. Fee-only fiduciaries who help you live within your meaning. BlueBarnWealth.com. So for Mitch Harper, our producer Nate Slack, also on the stream, Trevor Allen, Matt Baiamonte. Thanks for the calls, Cougar Nation. We'll see you next Monday.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City.
Congressman, 7 o'clock at KSL News Radio. My name is Claire Scott. KSL's top local story this hour is about Congressman John Curtis, who announced that he will not be running for Senate. Curtis wrote an op-ed in the Deseret News that said he has a commitment to his constituents in Congressional District 3. Last week, he told KSL News Radio there was a 90% chance he would run for Senator Romney's seat. A new plan for UDOT to expand I-15 could require moving some houses and businesses. KSL News Radio's Lindsay Ayerts has details.
UDOT's preferred plan widens 17 miles from Salt Lake to Farmington. It suggests as many as 5 homes and 16 businesses would need to relocate.
People's needs and families and what their existing property looks like, how they use that property. We work with them.
Project manager Tiffany Pocock says the plan creates 5 lanes and an express lane in either direction, plus updates the interchanges along I-15.
It's of age where we need to reconstruct it, and as we do so, we want to make sure that we're accounting for growth, we're accounting for what the community wants.
She says without it, the commute time could hit an hour by 2050. A group called the West Side Coalition has opposed expansion. This plan is in the public comment period. Lindsay Ayerts, KSL News Radio.
Student loans are no longer frozen, and borrowers are now expected to start making payments for the first time in 3 years. DMBA certified financial planner Shane Stewart says people need to accept that these aren't going away.
You have to treat this like any other debt. Make a plan. Having a plan to pay off debt is so much more valuable than just making those monthly payments.
Stewart says anything you can pay above the minimum will help you eliminate the debt quicker. Coming up, the end of the rain. KSL Weather's next. KSL News Time, 7:02.
Early mornings can be hard enough, just getting yourself going.
We try to make it a little easier with news and weather from comfortable, trusted anchors and reporters.
Join us on Utah's Morning News between 5 and 9
on KSL News Radio.
Made to Shine. Real stories from Shane Company customers.
We met later in life. I liked his dimples.
Both of our spouses had passed away, and we never expected to remarry.
That's the funny thing about love. It has its own agenda.
I wanted to get her a ring that celebrated our future, but didn't ignore our past.
I just wanted a party.
Shane Company helped me create the perfect ring, the center stone for us and the 2 side stones for our past loves.
Capture your love story with a unique engagement ring. Shane Company, fine jewelry since 1929.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
2 years ago, Americans watched in horror as a crisis unfolded at the Kabul airport.
There's desperation and anguish.
More than 80,000 Afghans have since arrived in America. But this story is still unfolding. I'm Andrea Smartin. In my new podcast, Stranger Becomes Neighbor, we'll find out what happens to these new arrivals in our communities. Who would help our newest neighbors? Follow us at kslpodcast.com, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you listen.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. Traffic, we're not looking at any serious backups or crashes on any major Utah road. Cypress Credit Union has the ease and expertise for all your business needs. Ask Cypress about payroll and HR resources, payment processing systems, lending needs, and more. Visit cypresscu.com. Showers have tapered off for today, but there is rain forecasted tomorrow with temperatures in the high 50s. Warmer temperatures are on the rise, though, with highs in 60s and 70s throughout the rest of the week and sunny skies. Right now, it's 52 and mostly cloudy. I'm Claire Scott, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Hi, this is KSL News Radio reporter Lindsay Ayerts. This segment of KSL at Night was recorded at 3 p.m. this evening, where we discussed the prospect of Congressman John Curtis running for the Senate seat. About 90 minutes ago, he announced he would not run. We still wanted to share a portion of the conversation with you.
KSL at Night was recorded and produced this afternoon. KSL at Night. Some of Utah's top political